El Gigante stories?
Or how you got hooked up with him and everything?
Yeah.
Well,
That's how I got to the Cadillac I was telling you about. I was there, and I guess it was Ricky Santana, somebody that were actually helping the Giant out because he's got to have. Well, this time he spoke almost perfect English.
Right.
He was an intelligent guy. Not a great worker, but his physical attraction was the key to his success. He made $750,000 in 3 years in this business.
Wow.
And saved every penny of it, besides the tax and stuff. But he did real well. And how he got out because of his health. He's diabetic now. His joints are all messed up. So something happened with his assistant that was helping him out. I guess wasn't taking care of him the right way or wanted more or something. Anyway, got fired. Dusty called me up and said, "Fonz, the job's yours." Because he seen how I got along with the Giant in Japan, and we became friends anyway. So they gave me an extra $400 a week and a Cadillac, 365 days a year, just to take care of the Giant. And actually wasn't taking care of him. Cut my expenses down. I didn't have to rent a car. And me and the guy got along perfect. And it's not like he'd call me up at 4 in the morning and say, "Hey, Fonz, go get me a hamburger."
Right.
It wasn't one of those things. It was more like friends.
You want to tell the one story about the hotel room?
That's kind of heavy,
Okay.
but I would love to tell the story. I'll tell it off camera, but
All right.
I'm not going to tell it to you guys.
But so you ran with him for how long in WCW?
I ran with him for almost the 2 years I was there after I got back with him the second time and did the Japanese thing, and Dusty said it's going to happen for you and all that. And about 2 years, and then his contract, Booker's had changed. Ole Anderson, everybody, and some new office came in and thought the Giant was overpaid. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I mean, who's to decide? Sting made $750. Why not pay the Giant $250? Fuck, cut Sting's paid. Nothing against Sting. Sting is talented as hell, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can use an example, Sting.
Yeah.
So they wanted the Giant to take a pay cut. Maybe 50 grand less or 25. Just they wanted to cut the expenses down because the company wasn't making money. So the Giant didn't want to take a pay cut. He said, "Fonz, you know anybody in WWF?" I said,
He was smart like that already?
"Yeah, yeah." He was talented. He had played several years in pro basketball in Argentina.
Right.
So you know what I mean.
He was very
already
business
built with
savvy.
contracts. Yeah, very intelligent guy. Says, "You know anybody in WWF?" I said, "Yeah, I know J.J. Dillon. I worked with him for 6 years in Florida. It was Dusty's right-hand man. I was Dusty's left-hand man." I said, "Well, why don't you give him a call? Because they're trying to fuck me over a little bit on my contract here." He says, "I can go to Japan and wrestle." The Japanese office wanted to sign exclusively with Baba or Inoki. The basketball companies and wherever he played at wanted him. So he had like 3 options. He said, "I can stay with TBS, I can go to Japan, or I can go play basketball." So I called J.J. Dillon up. I haven't talked to J.J. in years because he's been up there with Vince and I've been down there, and you know, you don't cross wires. And
Yeah.
as you see somebody at the airport, and just because you work together for years and years, like if I leave ECW, you guys aren't going to call me up every 6 months. "Hey, Fonz, how's your family?" If I see you,
Right.
"Hey,
Right.
what's going on?" You know what I mean? How's it? Like that.
Right.
So I called JJ. I called the office up, New York office, and it's JJ Dillon, who's calling Bill Alfonso. "Hey, Alfonso, what's going on, Fonz? What can I do for you?" I said, we talked about the families and everything for a minute. I says, "Here's the deal, JJ." I said, "I'm with the Giant, and his contract's up for renewal. He's not sure if he wants to go to TBS or go work for the Japanese office. I'll go back to Argentina to play basketball. We want to know if you guys are interested." He said, "Well, let me get back with you. Let me run it by Vince, and I'll get back with you." We were at my house at the time because the Giant had something wrong with his foot. He had to have a little operation on his foot, so we took a month off trying to renegotiate our contracts. And I gave him my number, and he said, "I'll get back with you." So I hung up the phone. I said, well, the guy says, get back with us. Could be 2 months, could be
Right, 2 days.
20 minutes later, the phone rings. Says, Vince is definitely interested in you guys, in the Giant.
Right.
When would he be able to come up? I said, first, let me say this, JJ. I said, I've been with the Giant for 2 years. We're like a package deal. It's not 100%, but while I'm his translator, I take care of him, I drive him, plus I do 2 jobs at once, JJ. He said, I understand.
Yeah.
He said, of course I wasn't. He said, you were included already. So, he said, when can you guys come up? This was like on a Tuesday. I said, well, anytime. He said, well, how about Thursday?
Huh.
What was that? Come up and have a meeting with Vince. I said, great, because his foot was messed up. It was just about healed up.
Mm-hmm.
And we had no dates with WCW. We were still getting paid.
Right.
Because we were out on an injury. But we were negotiating all over the world.
Right.
Well, you know, basically Argentina. I wasn't. He was, but I was negotiating my life too, to the Giant. So we flew up. Me and the Giant flew up. I said he's gonna fly first class because he's this, and Vince. But Vince flew us both first class. I love Vince for that. I like for a lot of reasons. Vince for that. So anyway, so we fly up, and Vince's personal chauffeur picks me and the Giant up in a limo, takes us to his house, to Vince's house, which is an hour drive from the airport. We'll pull up to this massive $7 million nice mansion. It's a beautiful, well-to-do fucking mansion place.
Yeah.
And JJ wasn't there. Nobody was there, but all the servants were expecting. I guess he had 2-3 servants, or maids, or whatever you want to call them. So we get in and they put us in the piano room. We're sitting out waiting, and JJ comes in. So sorry, we're running late. Vince is on his way. How you doing, Fonzie? I said, JJ, this is Giant Gonzalez, and they got over, bam, and brought us sodas and bullshitted. No business until Vince walks in a red fucking suit.
Right.
You know, the orange bright. Remember when he was wearing those colors?
Right.
Yeah.
His tennis shoes. But, you know, all custom made, nice suits and shit.
Yeah.
So Vince walks in and introduces himself as McMahon, and I know you, I've seen you, man. Bill Alfonso. Of course, he knows I'm coming up, so put me over a little bit. But he says, you're very athletic. I've watched your work before, and it made me feel a little more comfortable. And so he says, yeah, we're definitely interested in you guys. He says, and now the Giants trying to talk about figures, you know. He said, well, how much can I make? So, well, what did you make when you were in Atlanta? Well, how much can I make here? I was going back and forth, you know what I mean? Finally, the Giant said, I was making $250. Vince said, you're going to make way more money than that. You're way more money. Way more money. Then he starts saying his marketing. Takes you 2 years to get over. You get your merchandise, your dolls, your TVs, and this and that. WrestleMania, don't worry, you make more. He says, well, I like what you're saying, Vince. But the Atlanta office still owes me a couple of checks, and I'm not sure. He says, how much do they owe you? He says, no, it's about $37,000. That it was legitimate they were going to owe him. He says, Vince says, here's what I'll do. I'll write you a $45,000 check right now, George. I don't even want you to talk to those people anymore. You come work for us.
Wow.
It's like a signing bonus.
Right.
Yeah.
I was right there, and I know the figure because I was right there. Why would I bullshit you guys?
Right.
So the Giant seen that $45,000 check, and boom, this is good, and it's promised to make more money, and it's WWF, and they were at that time they were better, they were bigger, better ratings than Atlanta. Because of WrestleManias and all that shit.
It was a big show at the time.
Right. And the Giant says, okay, but I do not want to start until mid-January because this was like, this was right before Christmas, about a month before Christmas, November, somewhere right in there. I don't want to start before Christmas because I haven't been home with my family during Christmas in 3 years, and I want to start in January. Vince says, don't worry, it'll take us 3 months to come up with some shit anyway for you.
Right.
I said, Alfonso, when do you want to start? You want to start in 3 months with him? I said, holy shit! I don't want 3 months without work.
Yeah.
I said, I'll start as soon as possible. And then when the Giant comes in, I'm already familiar with the system. He said, JJ, put him to work right away.
Wow.
So, Giant gets the $45,000. So now everybody shakes hands and hugs and kisses and all that bullshit. And so we got to go to the office. Vince picks up the phone, says, George Gonzalez, $45,000. Have it ready when we're there. Vince says, I got a million things to do, but I'm going to have my guy take you to the office, show you around. You can pick up your check there. Fonzie, you can talk to
The same
JJ.
day? Everything was the same day?
Same day.
Wow.
Same day, $45,000 check. It's a good check, too, not a rubber check. You know what I mean? So, and before you go, I want you guys stopping. And he had a Giant. Oh no, this was after. So we went to the office, and JJ says, "When do you want to start working?" I said, "Well, whenever." And he had the month bookings right there in front of me. Flipped over, put me on all the big shows. I said, "He put MSG." I said, I understand Greensboro, all these shows, but what's the MSG? I don't. He said, Madison Square Garden, Fonz. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Thanks. So he was adding me on. All the referees were already assigned. The whole month was booked.
Right.
He just was adding me to the shows as a third wheel. They didn't even have to have me there. They were just paying me because of the Giant to be there. Plus, I was refereeing too. So we left there with contracts.
Yeah.
They had contracts fucking printed up, already drafted, boom. Said, do you guys take these home, show them to your lawyers? I said, George, I ain't showing them my lawyer. I'm just going to sign them and have a stamp. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, but George had his lawyer look at it and everything was legitimate. And we ended up staying there for a while. And the reason why George didn't fit in there after a while was because he really can't bump.
Right.
He's so big. He was starting to get sick at that time, and they liked him. Vince spent, when he came back in January, Vince had him fitted for the $3,000 custom-made suits. I got a $10,000 raccoon fur, like a Babe Ruth jacket that's full length, the big one at my house that belongs to the Giant right now. He didn't want to take it back to Argentina because it weighed too much or some shit. So, I mean, he really took care of us. And I made nothing but money, my God. Flew us around the country. A lot of people don't like Vince because I guess they got burned by Vince or got screwed or lost their jobs or stuff. But I don't have a bad word to say about Vince McMahon, and I never will, because he treated me very well. Even though he's not well liked by some people, but that's their problems.
How were you guys received when you started in Titan?
I knew all the guys.
Oh, okay.
I knew 90% of the guys. There might have been a guy there I didn't know. I knew Hawk. I knew everybody there because I've been around the business already 20 years. And if some of the guys had been interchanging with WWF and WCW, so they half the guys, because George had been there in the business 2 years already with Atlanta, so half the guys knew him or didn't know him, but knew of him. So we were treated just like good because Vince brought us in special. You know what I mean? We're Vince's boys now. Not Vince's boys, but Vince brought us in. You know what I mean? They're going to treat us with respect. And the Giant is different than the wrestlers because he was a different kind of competition to him. Like say Sean and Brett, or they got a, you know what I mean?
Right.
They might have a little conflict because they both striving to make that more money. And like me, I'm a referee. I fit right in. The boys like me because I'm no threat to them and I'm talented.
Right.
And they like the Giant because he was no threat to him because he's on a different level.
Right.
So, well, they loved us. They loved having a fucking 12-foot guy around. I mean, this guy was unbelievable. Did you guys ever get close to him?
Yeah.
Wasn't he amazing to look at?
Yeah.
I mean, I was with the guy every day for 3 years, and he amazed me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable guy.
How'd you get in touch with, I don't know if you want to jump here, but how did you left WWF and then,
Well, I left WWF. It was economics. Vince, I guess the company was starting to cut back. And, no, it was not starting. They were cutting back. They weren't doing big business like they were. When I got there, they were running 2 and mostly 3 towns a night. I mean, there was 3 shows per night, and every weekend there was matinee, it was double shots every Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
So we had like 9 bookings a week. You know what I mean? We were busy. Then in that course of the time period I was there, I guess business declined, economics, 91, whatever, everything just started going. So Vince had let the Giant go already because his anger was over, and he thought that he was going to make a lot of more money, but evidently he wasn't. But anyway, the Giant left there, wasn't good standards, but I stayed there for a while. Vince liked me, and I did my job good. And Vince called me and said, look, we're cutting back 30% of our company. You live in Florida. We do all our TVs up here. We got 90 referees up here. The Hebner's been here. We can't cut them out. He gave me justified reasons why he was giving me my pink slip.
Right.
And he said, economics, we're cutting the office back. We're going to rent some space in the office. We're just, it's just economics. But I'm giving you $10,000 severance pay.
Wow.
And Vince gave me a $10,000 check and said, good luck, shook my hand, hugged me, and said, the doors aren't closed.
Right.
Doors aren't closed. And I still worked some shows with him when he came to Florida. So he worked the Florida shows or stuff like that.
That's so cool.
I just can't fly around the country. I just can't. So,
Right.
But then I had no problems with that because it was business. And what can you do? Well, please keep me.
Right.
It's business.
Right.
You guys you cut down. You got to get out of here. You're going to go to a smaller office.
Right.
You're going to go to a bigger office when business is good.
Right.
So I was happy, and I had saved money, and I bought all my stuff up. I was making not a lot of money, but I was making good money, and bought a house and paid basically cash for a house and a car. So I had no expenses. So I was out of work for about, I don't know, close to a year or less or something like that. And between that, my stepdad died, and my mom has this 4-bedroom lake house in Odessa where Jack and Jerry and Gordon and all them lived, and I had my house close to Tampa Stadium. I had just built it, haven't even lived in it yet. My stepdad died, and my mom was going to be alone, so she said, once you sell the house and move in here, and I haven't been home in 20 years,
Right.
I'm 40 years old.
Yeah.
I've had my apartments and my house, 2 or 3 houses. So I said, well, Mom, I said, yeah, because my mom's getting old and she's been sick, and so I moved home. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now I got money in the bank, and she's got a house that's been paid for 20 years, and big property. I have a ball on a lake, and no expenses.
Yeah.
I just bought a Porsche, fucking lovely thing.
Nice.
So I can, the money I'm making here. So I was out of work. Now my mom's got a big place, and I'm on a tractor. Because that was my deal. I said, Mom, I'll maintain the whole area. Because we got 30 orange trees, 11 oaks. We got all kind of stuff to do there.
Right.
And she was paying through the nose to have all that done. And I said, Mom, that's me. I have a ball here.
Right.
And I did. And I still do. I love it, living home. Especially the house is a double-decker, and she's downstairs, and I got the whole upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a lovely thing, and I'm grateful for my mom for that, too.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.